Hey guys, welcome to the next installment of the Meditative Mobility series. As you can see, I'm inside a house. Reason being, here, different setting, why not? And two, you can see my hands better, whereas when I'm in grass, it's a little hard to focus in on my hands. And of course, I'm using something to prop my phone up, and I had to use a different phone. So in these video series, you're going to get all different sorts of stuff, but you know what, ultimately that stuff doesn't matter. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to show you the things that you can apply to your life that can make you feel better, move better, and live more in peace and joy and happiness. So without further ado, let's jump into it. This is the next piece here is the wrist and humerus. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into an all-fours position. So just like this, knees over top, underneath of hips, and then shoulders over top of wrists. So all you're going to do is getting into that position, shoulder width apart. Take a deep breath in. You're going to rotate your elbows inwards, so facing each other or even facing your body. You can twist them. And then you're going to open them up so they're facing forward. So you're going to breathe in, breathing out, rotating them out. Breathing in, rotating them out. So once we've got this position, we're going to go into leaning forward. So we're going to take a deep breath in and lean forward, keeping our elbows straight ahead. Nice and easy. We're going to take a deep breath back out. So I'll show you sideways. So here, take a deep breath in. Breathing out, coming back. Again, 3 breaths. In and out. So make sure when you guys are doing this that your elbows are always forward so they're not in as you're leaning. Always make sure they're pointing away from your body. Next up we're going to do is fingers out to the side. For this one, what we're going to do is we're going to take it one arm at a time. We're going to breathe in. And we're going to make sure the elbow faces in. We're going to breathe in, lean to that side, get a nice stretch, and then breathing back out to the center. In. Hold it for a second. And release. Again, elbow in. Let's go to the left. Making sure that that weight stays on the palm of the hand at all times. So when we go, we don't want that palm to come off the ground. Next up, you're going to go fingers behind you. This one can be pretty hard for a lot of people, especially keeping the elbows straight. So just do the best that you can. If that means you need to have a little bit of a turnout, that's okay as well. But just know that we're working towards getting our fingers facing towards us all the way. So here, just going to take a deep breath in and lean back. Hold it for that second. Coming back to neutral. If you need to bend the elbow a little bit, just to alleviate some pressure on the elbow joint, that's okay. Again, you're going to straighten the back out, take a deep breath in, and breathing out, coming forward. Next up you're going to do is you're going to spin one hand all the way around. So if I was here, you're going to spin it so the fingers are facing forward. And all we're going to do here from one hand at a time, for some, it may just be trying to straighten the elbow in this position and just trying to keep it straight. Some of you may start like this, so what you want to focus on is just extending that elbow. If you're able to do this, what you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to really rotate that wrist. Lean back. Ease off. Again, you can use this hand for a little bit of support so that you're not leaning all the weight on this wrist and this elbow joint, which may be difficult. So breathing in and breathing out. Same thing, we'll spin around, we'll go to the other side. Make sure those fingers are splayed as much as we can. Breathing in, we're going to lean back. Breathing out, we come forward. Next up, what we're going to do is we're going to go first knuckle push-ups. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a deep breath in. We're going to lean forward on our first knuckle. And we're going to come back down on our palms. So if I do that from the side, it's going to look like this. From here, we're going to take a deep breath in. Lean forward as much as we feel comfortable with, keeping the fingers straight. Coming down onto our palms. So once we've done 3 reps of that, we go to 3 finger. So we're going to take a deep breath in. making sure that all 3 fingers are straight like this. So we don't want our fingers bent. We want to make sure they're straight, and you pretty much go white knuckle all the way through. So coming up, breathing in. Again, depending on the strength, will depend on how far you lean in. And then slowly breathing out on the way down. Again, 3 reps of each will be very important. Next up, we're going to go palms up, and then, palms up, fingers facing towards you. So here, if you have really tight wrists, or your wrists, this is very fragile for you, want to make sure that you can bring your arms closer to your body, so that you can lean on your knees more. The more that I can center weight on my knees, the less pressure I can put on my wrists. At the beginning, for some, that may be important to do. Listen to your body and progress as your meditative practice increases and your strength increases. So here, again, I'll show you from the side. What you're going to do is you're going to try to rotate those elbows forward. You take a deep breath in and lean back as you take that deep breath. For some, you may just be sitting here like this and feeling the effort of just being able to straighten your elbows and hold that position. Next up, we're going to go fingers facing each other. And then again, one side at a time, we're going to breathe in, pushing on this wrist outwards, making sure our elbows straight. Getting a nice stretch along that outside. Coming back to the center. You're going to do the same side, and then of course we're going to switch over to that other side. Lastly, you're going to go palms up, fingers facing away from you, and here I'm just going to focus on trying to straighten out my elbows as I breathe in, and then bending my elbows a little bit to release the pressure as I breathe out. And for some, you may be able to straighten the elbows here. If so, you can lean forward on that bent or that straight arm and get a deeper stretch in that position. Next exercise is going to be a wrist rock. So from here, we're going to get onto our fists, and we're really going to make sure that this finger we're applying pressure to this finger, your index finger. And what you're going to do, and it might be better to show you on the side here, is you're going to shift your weight forward on your hands without leaning forward or leaning back. So once you found that proper position, you're just going to shift load forward on those wrists. You're going to feel a stretch go up the front side of your wrist up into the that lower arm. Holding that position when you breathe in, and then breathing out, pulling back. So try not to lean back as you come back. Try to find that spot where it feels comfortable, where you can move the wrists. After that, once we do 3 of those, we're going to take one arm at a time. We're going to take a deep breath in, trying to keep our elbows straight as we can. Come to the ground with our wrist, and then we're going to breathe out and come up on the wrist. It's very important that we actually try to use the strength of the wrist to pull that wrist back to the center, and not just letting load off the wrist to come up. So we want to really make sure we put some strain on that wrist in order to improve the wrist, improve its durability, and make sure it's getting stronger inside the joint. So one side, breathing in, breathing out on the way up, and of course the other side. 2 to 3 reps, depending on how long you want your practice to be, of course. Again, this is mostly for the meditative aspect, but mobility just it's always just a good reminder to know that it's not always about reps and how much. It could be 1 rep of each to start. The practice is what's most important, and the meditative aspect, to me personally, is second important, and then thirdly is just getting the benefits of moving while we meditate. Next up after that, we go into just sitting on our knees, arms out in front of us, and here we're just going to do rotation. So I'm going to rotate my arms first, my lower arm, we call it the radial arm here. We're going to rotate it in, and then we're going to breathe out and rotate it around, trying to keep our fingers spread. So breathing in and breathing out. Try to avoid rotating your shoulders. Just try to make sure it's coming mostly from this part of the arm, the elbow joint area. Of course, as well as the wrist, they kind of go hand in hand. Next up after that, we're going to go flexion, breathing in, and then breathing out and go into extension, making sure those fingers are nice and straight and the elbows are nice and straight. Breathing in, breathing out, and lastly, palms up, breathing in, and then rotating around, breathing out. So breathing in and breathing out. Alright guys, well, that's it for the mobility series, meditative mobility series for the wrist and humerus. Next up we have the scapula and then also the humerus here as well. So getting lots of work on the shoulders, wrists, elbow joint, definitely something we all need. So thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video.